Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle the often confusing world of insurance documents. Using some fantastic material put together by Dr. Sudhidra S.G., we're going to make this whole topic simple, clear, and actually useful. The goal? To help you feel way more confident when you look at your own policy. So let's get right into it and pull back the curtain on all that paperwork.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at an insurance contract and your eyes just start to glaze over. It can feel like a total avalanche of forms and fine print. But what if I told you it's not as complicated as it looks? What if we could break it all down into a simple, logical journey?
Well, that is exactly our plan. We're going to follow the entire life cycle of an insurance policy. We'll start at the very beginning with just a simple form, see how it becomes a real contract, figure out how to read it, understand the rules, and finally, learn how to keep it going strong.
Every single insurance policy, no matter how big or small, starts in the exact same place, with one crucial document, and that's the proposal form.
The whole thing is basically a three-step dance. First, you fill out the form with all your information. Second, the insurance company's experts, they're called underwriters, take a close look at everything to figure out the level of risk. And third, based on that risk assessment, they make a decision. Yes, no, or maybe with some special terms.
So what exactly are they asking for? Well, you've got the basics, like your name and address. But they also need details that help them understand the risk you represent. For instance, your occupation is a big one. Think about it. A pizza delivery driver on a scooter faces very different risks every day than an accountant working in an office. That's why they ask. They also want to know about your insurance history and any past claims to get the full picture.
Now, you'll almost always see a sentence like this on the form. And let me tell you, it is way more than just fine print. When you sign that declaration, you're agreeing to a core principle of insurance called utmost good faith. It's your promise, your guarantee that everything you've written down is the honest-to-goodness truth. The entire contract is built on that foundation of honesty.
Okay, so you filled out the form and sent it in. The ball is now officially in the insurer's court. This is the stage where your application starts to turn into a real, legally binding agreement.
This whole evaluation phase has a name. It's called underwriting. It's basically the insurance company doing its homework on you. And they can't take forever to do it either. According to IRDAI guidelines, they have about 15 days to process your proposal and let you know their decision. So it's a regulated process with a real deadline, which is good for you.
So, let's say the underwriters like what they see and they accept your proposal. The next step is figuring out the premium. The easiest way to think about the premium is that it's the price tag for the protection you're buying. In legal talk, it's called the consideration, and it's what officially makes the insurance contract valid.
And if there's one rule you remember from this whole thing, make it this one. Section 64VB of the Insurance Act is crystal clear. Your insurance coverage does not start until the insurance company has received your premium. Let me say that again. No pay, no protection. It's that simple. Even if they've approved everything, you are not covered until that money is in their hands. And there's another rule here that's designed to protect you. If you give your premium payment to an agent, they can't just hang on to it. They are legally required to deposit it with the insurance company within 24 hours. This rule makes sure there are no delays and that your coverage can start as quickly as possible. Okay, so your proposal was accepted and you've paid your premium. Now you get the main event, the policy document. This is it. This is the official proof of your insurance contract. So let's break down what's inside.
Think of your policy document as the official rulebook for your coverage. It spells out everything: who's insured, what's insured, for how much, and for how long. And here's what's really crucial. It lists not only the dangers or perils that are covered, but just as importantly, it lists all the things that are excluded. It also lays out the conditions you have to follow and gives you the step-by-step process for making a claim.
But what happens if the wording in that rule book is a little confusing? Well, when courts have to interpret a policy, their main goal is to figure out what you and the insurer originally intended. And here's a really important protection for you. If a term is written so poorly that it could mean two different things, the court will almost always side with you, the customer. The thinking is simple. The insurance company wrote the contract, so it was their job to make it clear. So how does that work in the real world? Well, there's actually a pecking order when it comes to the words in your policy. If there's a conflict, any handwritten notes that were added just for your policy, they win. They take top priority. Below that are any special typed or stamped additions. And at the bottom of the list is the standard pre-printed text. The takeaway is pretty simple. The more customized the wording is, the more power it has.
All right, now let's zoom in on some of those specific rules of the game inside your policy and also talk about how your policy can officially change over time.
You'll come across two really important terms: conditions and warranties. A condition is a basic rule of the agreement, like your duty to be truthful when you make a claim. But a warranty is on a whole other level. It is an ironclad promise that you have to follow to the letter. For example, a policy might have a warranty that says no more than 5 insured people from your company can travel on the same flight. If 6 of them get on a plane, you've breached the warranty. And the scary part is, the insurer could potentially void the policy from that moment on, even if the breach had absolutely nothing to do with any future claim. It's that strict.
So what if you need to make a change to your policy? Maybe you get married or buy a new car. You don't get a whole new policy document. Instead, the insurer issues something called an endorsement. It's basically an official update or amendment that gets attached to your original policy. Together, they form your new, complete contract.
And here's what an endorsement actually looks like. This one is adding a new person to a health policy. See how it clearly states who's being added, for how much coverage, and it even notes that an extra premium was paid. It's the official paper trail that makes the change happen.
All right, we've made it to the final section. Let's talk about how to keep your policy active and also understand some of the security measures that are in place to protect the whole system.
Okay, this one is huge, so listen up. That renewal notice your insurer sends you before your policy expires, that's just a friendly reminder. It's a courtesy. They are not legally required to send it to you. The responsibility to remember your policy's expiration date and renew it on time is 100% yours. So please, set a reminder on your phone, mark it on your calendar, do whatever you need to do.
Lastly, let's talk about why you have to provide so much personal documentation. I know it can feel a little invasive, but it's actually a really important part of a much bigger security system designed to prevent financial crimes, especially something called money laundering.
To fight these kinds of crimes, regulators have created Know Your Customer rules, also known as KYC. This is why insurancers are required to collect and verify your identity using things like address proof, a recent photo, and your PAN number. It's all about making sure they know who they're doing business with, which helps keep the entire financial system safer for all of us.
And there we have it. We've walked through the entire journey, from that first proposal form all the way to the final security checks. You are now armed with the knowledge to look at your insurance paperwork not with dread, but with confidence. So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you know what to look for, what's the very first thing you're going to check in your own policy documents when you get a chance? Maybe the exclusions or the warranties? Go take a look. You might be surprised by what you find. Thanks for joining me.